It's a big NDTV impact. Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Eknath Shinde, has cracked the whip. After NDTV's relentless campaign, a stern warning has gone out to Sena cadre. He said no more hooliganism. While speaking to party men at a meeting in Dadar earlier today, Shiv Sena Chief Leader and Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde delivered a strong and clear message to the slappers like Sanjay Gaikwad. Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister has finally stepped in with a tough stand. He said that in the past few days, certain incidents have taken place. People don't point fingers at you, they point fingers at me for what you do. They ask me, what are your MLAs up to? You all are my people, we are one family. Your disrepute is my disrepute as well. Don't waste your energy on unnecessary matters. Speak less and work more.
At this point of time, what is important is to know that this is the first time that Eknath Shinde has, from what we know from our sources, has made it very clear to his cadre, to his workers in this very important meeting, which was attended by leaders and ministers from all across the state for Shiv Sena. And he has not minced his words, right? He's made it very clear that he is very affectionate with the party members, and he will go out of his way to make sure that their interests are kept well. But one thing that becomes very important to know is that he's given a very indirect reference to what happened with Dhananjay Munde. He's mentioned here that a minister has already had to step down because of his deeds or his connection with someone who was involved in a very serious crime. And, a reference of that nature is an extremely serious one, because here we are not just talking about Sanjay Gaikwad, we're also talking about Sanjay Shirsat, on whom there are a number of cases coming up. First, we had the CM order a probe into his Wits Hotel, case in Aurangabad. Then we had that video being made viral by Sanjay Raut. And today, another 2,000 crore rupees probe or corruption probe put against him by a social activist here in Maharashtra. So, in considering all of this, it was safe to believe that Shinde Sena was put on what can also be termed as a back foot for a long while, and they were waiting to hear from their leader. We did hear a few tidbits about how Eknath Shinde has talked to a specific leader. He's talked to some other leader about, what he thinks of what has happened. But to say it publicly, make sure that he says it in front of all the party cadre members, in front of all of the ministers, is surely a very strong statement. And from what we know, as far as Shiv Sena's culture is concerned, Eknath Shinde is at the very center of that culture, right? We know that, especially since the split happened, Eknath Shinde has been very instrumental in the growth and the success that the party has received in the last couple of years. And that is also something that he's mentioned. He said that discipline is at the key of the success that the party has received in a very short span of time after the split. And the fact that that discipline is at the stake, becomes an important point to be considered here, which is why, it is safe to believe that what actions will be taken or whether these words will be translated into quote unquote positive actions is something for us to wait and watch for. But as of now, we can very safely say that it's a move in a positive direction by making sure that he prepares for elections, civic elections better, and he also maintains some sort of discipline in the Fadnavis cabinet.
We know that it is now Eknath Shinde given where we could see the Deputy Chief Minister giving very checkered, regulations for all his MLAs, and stating that the success they've got, like Anuj mentioned, is in a very short span, and it was in a very disciplined manner that they were able to, make and form government and go an alliance with the BJP. But now that we see there have been Sanjay Gaikwad and Sanjay Shirsat, and this Sanjay factor has become a problem for the Shiv Sena now, because of which Eknath Shinde is strictly asking his MLAs to adhere by these rules, and also not to give statements or do any such activity which questions the party's, their faithfulness and their dedication towards the people of Maharashtra. Because we know since the last few days, the language problem has become a major a challenge for multiple political parties, and then we always saw MNS and then the Shiv Sena UBT throwing themselves into this entire fight of, and we can call it a war over language, but this time it is, the Shiv Sena too, which is trying to be cautious ahead of the election in Mumbai, the local municipal elections, because of which we saw Deputy Chief Minister giving strict guidelines, and also telling them that anything that affects their reputation affects his reputation as well as Shiv Sena's public image, because of which he clearly told that he is not willing to take action against any of such MLAs, but if they do so, then he'll be forced to take action against them. So a strict guideline for all the MLAs to follow, and if not, then of course they'll face the consequences of what Eknath Shinde has warned them of, because he knows now that looking at these incidents that have happened, they are being carried heavily by us as well as other media houses, because of which it could lead to a negative image building of the party. And we've also told them that he's always been working like a party worker, and he never tried to create a dominance over all of his MLAs. And we've seen that happening ever since 2022, when there was this political turmoil that we could see in Maharashtra. And now that the government is in power, and it is him as well who's been given the responsibility of, the deputy chief minister as well as other ministry and portfolios, he needs to ensure that they are for the people and not against the people over something as common as language. And that is what a clear message that has been given by Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde today in Dadar, while he was addressing all of his party workers and especially the big leaders in the cadre.
The Bollywood and Haryanvi pop singer Rahul Fazilpuria narrowly escaped a shooting incident on the southern peripheral road near Badshapur in Gurugram earlier today. According to local reports, unidentified assailants opened fire at Fazilpuria's vehicle while it was on the SPR stretch. The attackers managed to flee the spot and no injuries were reported. Fazilpuria, who is known for his popular tracks in the Haryanvi music circuit and Bollywood collaborations, was in the vehicle when the attack took place but escaped unhurt. The Directorate General of Civil Aviation, or DGCA, has ordered a mandatory inspection of engine fuel switches on all affected aircraft registered in India following the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau's preliminary report into the 12th June Air India crash in Ahmedabad that killed 260 people. The DGCA has directed all airline operators to complete the inspection of the engine fuel switches by 21st of July. The regulator has also issued mandatory modifications for aircraft engines and components based on airworthiness directives issued by the state of design or manufacture. A political controversy has erupted in Karnataka over the absence of Chief Minister Siddaramaiah from the inauguration of a flyover in Shivamogga scheduled for Monday, the 14th of July. Now, Karnataka Chief Minister has written to PM Modi claiming that he was not informed about the bridge launch. He said that this is a serious breach of protocol. The state government said that it had requested Union Minister Nitin Gadkari to postpone the event as the Chief Minister was not informed in advance. Well-known stunt artist SM Raju was killed in a horrific car crash on Sunday morning that took place in Tamil Nadu during the shooting of a high-risk car toppling sequence of Tamil star Arya's upcoming film Vethuvan, directed by P.A. Ranjit. Director Ranjit and 3 others have been booked after the stunt artist died during the film shoot. The shoot for the film was described as a complete action movie with a modern Robin Hood storyline. Chilling visuals of the accident depicts Raju driving a car at high speed before it violently topples and crumples, drawing gasps of horror from the crew. A case of negligence has been registered against Ranjit, his assistant, vehicle owner and the manager.
The Nagapattinam police in Tamil Nadu have booked director Ranjit and his team for negligence leading to the death of the well-known stunt artist Raju, who was killed while filming a car toppling stunt in the district. Police have confirmed to NDTV that the post-mortem report also reveals internal bleeding, severe bleeding in fact, amid lack of external injuries. So far, no arrests have been made, but police are waiting for the final post-mortem report to take a call on this. Actor Vishal, who is also the General Secretary of the South Indian Artists Association, has reiterated presence of a strong safety mechanism during such stunt performances, including mandatory wearing of helmet, special suit, fastening of the seat belt, besides, more importantly, presence of a rock-solid pipe, as he calls it, in the vehicles, which protect the driver from any possible collapse of the vehicle's shell. In Chennai, with Suresh, Sam Daniel, Find the TV.
Thank you for that report, Sam. A very sad story indeed. Now, a Facebook post by a lad who said that he went to look for a ball that fell into an abandoned home in Nampalli in the heart of Hyderabad and found a skeleton inside caught the attention of the authorities. On 14th of July, human skeletal remains were discovered in a locked house near Nampalli market, in fact, in Hyderabad. Local residents alerted the police after noticing a foul smell emanating from the house, which had reportedly been shut for over 7 years. Police officials visited the scene and the Habibnagar police have launched an investigation. The identity of the deceased, including whether the remains belong to a man or a woman, is yet to be established. The skeleton has been shifted to a mortuary for examination by experts.
The curious case of a skeleton being found inside a home in the bustling Nampalli area of Hyderabad has raised several questions. How this particular skeletal remains were found is also very interesting, because a Facebook video was posted by a young man who says that he went inside the house in order to find a ball that had fallen inside, and he found that there were trees inside. He has in fact posted the video that shows that he is coming down the stairs, jumped in, and then found a body which is lying inside the kitchen of this particular house. It's a very abandoned house, and you can see that there is a skeleton that's lying in front of a refrigerator. The police subsequently went in after the viral video caught their attention, and they found that this house may have been abandoned now for several years. The ACP of the area, Kishan Kumar, who I spoke to, says that it is completely decayed, the body, and if you thought about the stench or the stink that the dead body may have given rise to, he says because that area has certain other shops like butcher shops, and therefore the stench may have got buried, and he believes that it is possibly a natural death that happened of a man who was living in that area. The police officer told me that there was someone called Munir Khan who had 10 children, and this person is believed to be or suspected to be the fourth among them. Many of them were abroad, and the police are now trying to contact the other family members, but he's supposed to have been living there and said to be mentally disturbed, and he is suspected to have died there under natural circumstances because there is no blood stain or any kind of a struggle, is what the police officer said. So now the forensic remains have been sent to the laboratory by the clues team, and they will await one DNA verification to find out who it is, and also find out whether there is anything unnatural in the death that had happened. In Hyderabad, with camera person Nagraju, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
The Supreme Court upheld the punishment of 4 persons for the murder of a software engineer in 2003 while allowing them to seek clemency before governor. A bench of justices said that the convicts who committed the offence in 2003 when they were young with adrenaline pumping in their veins were now middle-aged. They further emphasized that they are inclined to uphold the conviction and sentence rendered by the High Court in the impunged judgment. The top court said that 2 of the 4 accused persons were teenagers at the time of the incident, whereas the fiancé of the victim had barely crossed the phase. The top court said that it was a case where the voice of a young, ambitious girl, muffled by a forced family decision, created the fiercest of turmoil in her mind. The Supreme Court has granted 8 weeks' time to accused to approach the Karnataka governor to seek pardon. B.V. Girish, a software engineer, was engaged to Shubha, and he was murdered on the 3rd of December 2003. The Rath Yatra in Toronto was disrupted with eggs being hurled at devotees. This has prompted a section from the MEA who have urged the Canadian government to take action, and they have taken up the matter with the Canadian authorities, describing the act as regrettable and against the spirit of the festival. The Ministry of External Affairs said that it had taken up the matter with Canadian authorities and urged action against those responsible. The incident occurred on 11th of July during the 53rd annual Rath Yatra organized by ISKCON. The Odisha governor has sought a report on Balasore FM college students' self-immolation incident. The governor has demanded an immediate report from the state government seeking clarity on the circumstances and reasons behind the incident, along with a prompt and exemplary action against those responsible. The incident, which occurred on Saturday, has sparked widespread concern. Former Chief Minister and Leader of Opposition Naveen Patnaik had urged the governor in his capacity as Chancellor of the university to take urgent action.
मैम आए थे हम लोग को, वो मेरे बहन को मिले, खुद जाके देखा स्थिति का अनुध्यान क्या है क्या कुछ नहीं है, क्या चल रहा है, क्या ट्रीटमेंट चल रहा है, स्थिति का अनुध्यान क्या है। और डॉक्टर के ऊपर भरोसा रखने के लिए बोले हैं। डॉक्टर ट्रीटमेंट बेस्ट ट्रीटमेंट कर रहे हैं और आगे भी कैसे इम्प्रूवमेंट होगा उसके ऊपर डॉक्टर के साथ बातचीत करेंगे बोले। हौसला रखने, धैर्य रखने के लिए बोले। वो थोड़ा इमोशनल हो गया मैम। हाँ, मैम से मिलके कोई अपने से आपने जैसा फील हुआ।
In a dramatic move, Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah drove to the martyrs' graveyard this morning. Registered police's attempts to stop him and other National Conference leaders from visiting the memorial, scaled a wall and paid tributes to Kashmiri protesters shot dead by Maharaja Hari Singh's forces on 13th of July 1931. The Chief Minister's surprise feat comes a day after he and top Jammu and Kashmir leaders were barred from visiting the martyrs' graveyard or Mazar-e-Shuhada to mark the anniversary of the July 13 killings.
Why it has reached to this point where we see 13 July 1931 event has become so controversial. Even the elected chief minister and his entire cabinet is stopped, and what you say, they tried to manhandle or physically push you.
Again, that's a question for the people who take these short-sighted decisions. At the end of the day, who were these people who laid down their lives in 1931, and why were they doing it? They did it precisely to stop what we saw today. They did it to stop authoritarian rule. They did it. It was basically a sacrifice for the freedom against British rule. At the end of the day, however you choose to interpret history, all the royal families that were ruling various states and principalities were doing so with the permission of the British or not?
Yeah, they were appointed.
They were appointed and supported by the British. Therefore, if anybody rose up against them, it was.
You are talking about Maharaja of Kashmir.
I am saying that the people who laid down their lives on the 13th of July 1931 were essentially doing so against the hegemony and the rule of the British. In the rest of the country, you celebrate those people. In Jammu and Kashmir, you villainize them. But what do you expect from people who to this day consider the person who killed the father of the nation to be a hero? If you celebrate the person who killed Mahatma Gandhi, then obviously you will treat the people who laid down their lives against British rule as villains.
But BJP has been, local BJP has seen they were miscreants, they were arsonists, communal, and to all these martyrs.
Because they were Muslims. Had they been any other religion, the BJP would have had no problem with them. They would have been saluting them. Their only problem, unfortunately for the BJP, is that they belong to the Muslim majority community.
Chief Ministers of West Bengal and Tamil Nadu on Monday slammed the house arrest of their Jammu and Kashmir counterpart Omar Abdullah and his ministers. Abdullah was detained at home over his wish to visit the graveyard of those killed by Dogra forces in 1931. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee said it amounted to snatching the democratic rights of a citizen. Let's listen into this report from Sam Daniel.
House arrest of Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah has drawn sharp reactions from his counterpart in Tamil Nadu, M.K. Stalin, who calls it a grim reminder how far things have deteriorated amid demand for statehood for Jammu and Kashmir. He's questioned Is this the way to treat an elected chief minister, and that this could happen to any elected representative in any part of the country? He has slammed the union government for what he calls systematically stripping away rights of the states. So far, there's no response from the BJP. In Chennai with Suresh, Sam Daniel, for NDTV.
Time for a quick break on the show. More on the other side. Stay tuned. Donald Trump has threatened Russia with 100% secondary tariffs if the war in Ukraine does not end soon, as he announced an agreement with NATO allies to send more weapons to Kyiv. During a meeting in the Oval Office with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte on Monday, the US President said that he was very unhappy with Moscow over the lack of progress towards a deal to end the conflict.
Secondary tariffs are very, very powerful.
What about the tariffs that the Republicans in the House and the Senate have ready? Those were 500%. Sure. Why are you doing 100%?
Well, the Republicans are moving very strongly in the Senate, giving us total control of it. They've actually crafted a pretty good piece of legislation. It's probably going to pass very easily, and that includes Democrats. And there's some little tweaks, but I don't want to say I don't need it because I don't want them to waste their time. It could be very useful. We'll have to see. But we can do secondary. We're probably talking about 100% or something like that.
So can you clarify?
We can do secondary tariffs without the Senate, without the House. But what they're crafting also could be very good.
Now, India's Shubhanshu Shukla and 3 other astronauts will return home from space on 15th of July. The hatch between the SpaceX capsule and International Space Station has closed and the aircraft has undocked. Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, a decorated officer of the Indian Air Force, became the second Indian after Wing Commander and later Group Captain Rakesh Sharma went to space in 1984 and the first Indian to go to the International Space Station.
Indian Gagan Yatri, Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, who has been at the International Space Station for 18 days, completed his mission at the International Space Station and is now heading back to Earth. Group Captain Shukla went to the International Space Station from the Kennedy Space Center on June 25th, and since then, at the International Space Station, he has participated in about 60 scientific experiments, of which 7 of them were India-specific, participated in some outreach activity, and also spoke to Prime Minister Narendra Modi from space. Now, Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla is expected to splash down off the coast of California sometime around 3 o'clock in the afternoon India time. Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla is an Indian Air Force test pilot and is now expected to participate when he comes back in India's own human space program called Gaganyaan. Group Captain Shukla will participate in Gaganyaan and will help train not just the engineers but also the future crew which will go on Gaganyaan. Gaganyaan is India's ambitious human space program where by 2027 it is expected that the first Indian will go to space from Sriharikota. And after that, India wants to set up an international space station by 2035 and land an Indian on the moon by 2040. He will have a 7-day rehabilitation program after his stint in microgravity in Houston, and after that, there would be his homecoming to India. So, Ghar Wapsi for Group Captain Shukla, who has been beaming and happy and spent a fruitful time at the International Space Station. In New Delhi, Palav Bagla for NDTV.
Well, that's all we could pack into this bulletin. Thanks for watching.